The Emir of Qatar has attended funerals in the capital Doha for those killed in an Israeli strike that targeted Hamas officials there earlier this week. 5 members of the group and a Qatari security force member were killed, but Hamas says its top leaders survived. The strike took place as they were assessing a new ceasefire deal with Israel. Qatar has hosted Hamas's political leadership for years in Doha to encourage negotiations between the militant group and Israel. The attack drew international criticism. Qatar's news agency says Doha will host an Arab-Islamic summit next Sunday and Monday to discuss the attack. And for more now, I'm joined by Emma Sobrier. She's director of the PRISME initiative. That's a think tank which aims to redefine security in the Middle East. Emma, it's good to have you with us. I mean, there will be an emergency summit in Doha over the weekend to discuss a possible coordinated Arab-Islamic response. What is Qatar trying to achieve here?
Well, thank you so much for having me. And the first thing that I would say is the massive response that we've seen from GCC neighbors and the Arab League is not at all symbolic. We've seen that the GCC and Arab League condemned the strike as a violation of Qatari sovereignty. The UAE and Saudi Arabia, most importantly, have issued strong statement. The UAE's president flew to Doha, as we saw, to coordinate. And so one thing is certain is that there will be a collective response, and that is very much what Qatar is hoping for, even though Qatar did say that they would not ask any specific action from anyone. But it is unclear what action could be taken. It could go as far as a decision to pull sovereign funds from Israel and or US, or at the very least some form of economic sanctions on Israel, and very certainly a push for more of a regional security order, more independent from US security guarantees.
What do you make of the Qatari Prime Minister saying, and I'm quoting here, that Netanyahu needs to be brought to justice? What do you think is likely to happen next?
Well, Qatar has said that that it has started taking legal steps, and the fact that Israel violated Qatari sovereignty is extremely important here, because we have a sovereign state that has means to bring Israel to justice in even more of a significant way that anything that has been tried or not really tried over the past few months. And I believe that this is an action that is pushing regional actors over the edge in terms of Israel's impunity, which is not new, of course, but there is a will to really show that this was a line that couldn't be crossed, despite everything else in the maximalist militarized approach by Israel and the attempts to bring it to justice.
Let me ask you this then. Israel claims that its recent attack aimed to expose Qatar's real face, portraying it, of course, as a supporter of terrorism. Qatar says that it's been hosting Hamas following a U.S. request and in complete coordination with the U.S. So who's right here?
Well, let me tell you this, or ask you this in response. If a U.S. major non-NATO ally, which is the status currently of Qatar, if a U.S. major non-NATO ally hosting the biggest U.S. military base can be hit while mediating a U.S.-backed deal, the real question here is U.S. credibility. In addition to making sure that Israel is brought to justice for such an action. I believe we need to keep the important question in mind, and the redefinition of the security regional order is, or the regional security order is really what is at stake, because the U.S. credibility has not just been dented; it has been truly delegitimized by what happened.
By Israel.
Yes, I believe that what we're seeing now is Israel maximalist militarized approach in Palestine and well beyond keeps expanding the war's map and isolated Tel Aviv diplomatically, and actually making U.S. hostage of its maximalist approach to the regional issues at the moment.
Okay. Emma Sobrier, Director of the PRISME Initiative. Emma, we appreciate your time and your insights today. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Well, Mohammen Sinan is a lecturer of international relations at the University of Wolverhampton. Thank you for joining us today. Help us understand how Qatar has managed to position itself as an ally of both the United States and its rivals, such as Iran and its proxies like Hamas.
Yeah. So I think this is something to keep in mind that right from the 1990s, mid-1990s, Qatar realized that there should be more independent strategies that it takes in terms of regional geopolitics. And so one of the things that they did was they used to engage significantly with different actors, especially in mediation. So whether that came to Israel, whether that came to Iran, whether that came to the US, specifically, for example, if you're talking about Hamas, it was with the US request that in 2012, they opened up one of the offices for Hamas in Qatar. And this was to ensure that there is some sort of back channel discussions that go on over here. So Qatar's been, so that's one aspect of it. And I guess the second aspect is also the fact that because obviously Qatar has a lot of wealth, it's been able to offer some sort of economic incentives to all sort of different actors, especially when it comes to mediation. So ensuring that a lot of these actors are able to get space within Qatar to be able to discuss some of the issues, to be able to mediate and to be able to negotiate some of their conflicts has been one among the strengths that Qatar has had in the last 15 to 20 years or more than that.
But what do you make of Israel's claims its recent attack aimed to expose Qatar's real face, portraying it as a supporter of terrorism?
I mean, this is something that we need to keep in mind that Israel has always known that Qatar has been sending a lot of money into Palestine, for example, and there has been an uneasy relationship that has been going on between these countries. In fact, if you remember all the way till the 2000s, mid-2000s, Israel and Qatar actually had official relations. But then in one of the attacks that, or in one of the offensives that Israel had launched into Palestine at that point, Qatar sort of like took off or stopped some of their relationships. So the point being that Israel has always known that these sort of funding has been going into Qatar, into Palestine, and it has sort of accepted that because it knew that this is one of the ways to keep peace in the region. So right now, you can just see this more as Israel's, impetus to try and expand some of its actions in the Middle East and to try and assert some of its dominance as well, more than just exposing, Qatar's true face. Because again, the US has also known for a long time that Qatar has been negotiating and mediating between Israel as well as Palestinian actors.
Okay, but not only mediating, but would you agree propping up the Hamas leadership, living the life in Qatar while the Palestinian people suffer in Gaza?
I think all sorts of political actors often have some sort of presence in different places, and in terms of propping up, I mean, a lot of different countries tend to do this sort of work where they often end up hosting different actors from within countries that are suffering right outside into different countries. So even for that matter, you have had the Taliban, which has been hosted in Qatar as well as different other actors from other parts of the world as well. So there really isn't. I mean, this is a normal part of politics that takes place in different countries. So it's to say that, Qatar is, hosting Hamas leaders while Palestinians are suffering. If it's not Qatar, it would be maybe some other place that would be hosting it. And Qatar is just one of the places that has done this, again, on the behest of the US.
Okay, we'll have to leave it there. International relations expert, Dr. Mohammen Sinan, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.